Hello and welcome to my review of the new Ante album called Beyond the Ages. So the band Ante has been around for a few years now, and prior to this album they had actually come out with their last project, which was an EP from 2022 called Extended Replay. This album actually includes 3 songs from that prior EP as well that I really liked, so I'm actually very happy to see them reappear on this album, so immediately 2 thumbs up for me. I would say that Ante is pretty firmly a math rock band. Their stylings are very similar to that of maybe, let's say, like Jocho, potentially, depending on what part of Jocho's career you're kind of looking at. And I would also say maybe light, just because it has that kind of more moodier, kind of like very sharp sounding sound to the songs. On one hand, you have Toe, which is kind of more melodic and laid back, but still very energetic, whereas Light is very just energy heavy, and it's somewhat aggressive too. I feel that Toe is kind of the inverse of that, so I feel like Ante is like right in the middle of those 2 bands specifically. Now, I would also say that you would probably like this album if you're a fan of other Japanese math rock bands, such as Hyake and Paranoid Void even. In particular, the first song, which is called Cultural Kidding, is very reminiscent to me of Paranoid Void. And considering they haven't come out with too many albums as of late, or kind of ever, I'm very happy for that sound to kind of emerge here. And just kind of on a quick tangent too, why isn't Paranoid Void coming out with more music? That first album was awesome. The second one was kind of a drop, but man, that first album was so good, and that was like 7 years ago. And I know they're coming out with singles right now, but I just need more Paranoid Void. So with that said, I think Cultural Kidding is a fantastic kickoff for this album. Could not have placed this anywhere better on the track list, I think. So nice, very cool. The next song is called Now on the Offbeat, and it's another Toe-like song. Again, really great energy, really engaging too. I just kind of like how everything sounds here. And that's also a little of my general opinion on the whole album. I will say the album is a little samey sounding, but I like the sound a lot, so I'm not really upset by any means. What made me compare this band to Light was kind of how there's this very just ever-present chugging bass in the background. And that is definitely apparent on the third song here called Avant. I feel like this is very much a song by the band Light. And while I'm not super familiar with Light's whole catalog, considering they have so many albums and kind of side projects and EPs, it's kind of hard to keep track of where they are on their journey at any given moment, really. But this really sounds like classic Light to me, in my opinion, so I'm happy to see that here. And the next song is called Under My Control, and this to me is a very classic math rock sounding song, just because of the guitar, just because of the rhythm, the drums, very much in the math rock genre here, which I think they are a fantastic new entry into this whole scene. Our next song is called Deep Half, and it also has some of that Light-esque sort of edge to it. I also really like the middle section of this song in particular. It just kind of has this sort of warmth, and I just like how that sounds a lot. So the next song is, I think, what I would call my favorite song on the album. It's called Goodbye and Fuck You. So originally, this is one of those songs from that EP that I mentioned, and the original title was just called Goodbye and. So I kind of like that they have kept the song, but also reworked it a little bit. And because of that, they've also renamed it, so you know that it's a separate alternate version. So in general, this song just sounds so good. It really reminds me of American football. I just think the drummer is really putting in the work on this song. It is just so fantastic. The guitar riff, really good on this one too. 2 thumbs up for this one for sure. So the next song is called Passive Closer, and I feel pretty much the exact same about this song as I do the previous one, so I don't really have anything new to quite add, except for the fact that this one reminds me of another math rock band called Floral, who's kind of been in and out as far as releases go over the past 5 or 6 years, maybe even 7. I think they sound like Floral a lot. However, this one's a little bit more on the sort of softer side. I feel like Floral kind of verges on gent, sort of in a similar way that Chan does. But this song here is for sure more of that laid back kind of Toe math rock vibe that I was talking about earlier too. And with that, the last song is called Mole. It just has this crazy time signature. It's really fun. It's a really cool song. I gotta say, the drummer for this band is just straight up fantastic. I love him so much. And I also like the way that the guitars play off each other on this one as well. I think they've got great chemistry, and they make me really excited to see what they come up with in the future too. I think they've got some real potential here. So that's all the songs. Just as a kind of final note for what I think about this album, I think the bassist, fantastic, killing it. And I'd also just like to give props to the drummer too, who is just going crazy on this whole album. In general, I think that this is a very lovely, clean math rock sound that the band went with here that just works really good for all of their kind of strengths and the way that they play off each other. Yeah, so in general, I just really love the very clean math rock sound that the band went for on this album. It's very stimulating and technical math rock, which I just love. And I know that I'll be coming back to this album for that exact reason. So with that said, I think I would give this album a 7 out of 10. Some of the songs are very impressive, but not all of them. And I think that if there were more songs like Mole, I would really have rated this closer to an 8, but I feel like 7 is fair just because there's some really strong songs here. Not all of them are. And on top of that, there's nothing that really makes them stand out from the crowd. As I've kind of alluded to a lot in this review, they sound a lot like a lot of other math rock bands, especially Japanese ones. And so because of that, they don't really have their own unique identity, which is completely fine on their first album. They've got lots of room for improvement, but I do still like what is here at the moment. And I hope to see where they go next, because I think they've got some real potential. And I love Japanese math rock, so I would love another album of theirs soon. So thank you. So thank you for watching. I think you should listen to this album, as I think you should listen to all the albums that I review. That's why I talk about them. I think they're really interesting for one reason or another. And I think this one is for sure worth your time if you like math rock or just kind of more energetic instrumental rock from Japan. I think if you do like those, 3 things, you would really like this. So check it out. It's short. Check it out. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you for watching.